I'm Madeline from Sheen Slings, and today I'm answering the question, what's the difference between the Ergobaby and the Tula carriers? So I get this question loads, and I think the first thing to say is they are both owned by the same parent company. So actually these two carriers share more in similarity to each other than other carriers on the market than they do differences. But there are some differences, and I'm going to take you through those in a moment. But first, to talk about in the ways in which they're similar, they are both relatively structured, relatively well-padded carriers. They both have well-padded, quite robust waistbands and well-padded shoulder straps. And they come in different models, but because they're owned by the same parent company, they have paired models. So the ones I'm showing you today, this is the Ergo Omni Breeze, and its equivalent Tula is the Tula Explore. Actually, the proper equivalent would be the Coast, which has a mesh panel, and the proper equivalent to this would be the Ergo Dream, which is full cotton, but basically they're all exactly the same in terms of what they do, which is that they will adjust from, they say newborn, but neither of these will work very well for a newborn. Both will work really well once baby hits around 2 months, and both will last really well to around 2 years. Or to almost 2 years, and they both adjust in width and height to accommodate different ages and stages, and they both allow inwards and outwards facing, and they both do that in quite a similar mechanism. They both have a really beautiful, in fact, of all the carriers on the market, these two are the best for outward facing in terms of the seat they give. They have a beautiful bucket seat. In the case of the Tula, it adjusts through the buttons. The Ergo, it adjusts through these sliders. So if I put these, there we go, in the same position as the Tula, it adjusts through the sliders. And so they do kind of all the same things. They do inwards, outwards, back. The Ergo does hip, the Tula doesn't. But they do all those same things and last a really long time. And I mentioned that they adjust, and again, they adjust in really similar ways. If you can see into my Ergo, we have Velcros to adjust the width, and we have 3 settings. And in the Tula, we have instead poppers, but we have, again, 3 poppers. And the sizing is exactly the same. So the same between the two. And again, when adjusting the height, we have a headrest part that will go inwards, outwards, and up on the Tula, and likewise on the Ergo. Mine's currently inwards, but it will go inwards, outwards, and up. So they are really very, very similar to each other. But how are they different? So there are 3 main ways in which they are different. The first and probably most significant way is in the shoulder strap. So let's grab the Ergo first. You will notice on the Ergo that the buckle is attached to the panel of the carrier. So the buckle is here. This means, because the buckle is here and undoes, means we can wear these straps either in the H position across my back, the sort of classic rucksack with that strap done up at the back, or we can wear it crisscrossed across my back, which means it gives me a really big flexibility of fit, and will accommodate lots of different shaped shoulders because it will do either option. Because the buckle is here, it also means that to tighten I need to pull backwards, which some people can find very hard, particularly if they don't have very good wrist mobility. However, Ergo have given very long straps, which does mean this carrier fits a whole range of body shapes and sizes, but it also means you can use the chicken dance method to tighten up if you are finding pulling backwards hard. The Tula, by contrast, actually doesn't have a buckle at all. Instead, it has a ladder lock tightening system, and you will notice that is attached to the strap, not to the panel. So this means that we cannot wear this crisscrossed. We can only wear it in the rucksack style with the strap across the back. But it means when we come to tighten, we pull forwards, which a lot of people will find easier because it's pulling more in the direction of your wrists where you have more strength. So what are the main, I would say this is the biggest difference between these two carriers and will be the main indicator of which one you prefer. If you are looking at these two, which one you prefer. So not being able to do the cross often rules this carrier out. If you are someone who finds the cross more comfortable. How do you know that? Well, the only way to know is to try it on. People are always asking me which one is better, crossed or rucksack. And really the only way to tell is to try it on, because it depends on tiny differences in the shape of your shoulders and the shape of your back and how the strap sits across your back. Some people will find cross far more comfortable and some people will find H most comfortable. My best example of this is one of my closest friends is exactly the same height as me. She's the same weight, we can share clothes, but she finds the H most comfortable and she gets quite uncomfortable in the cross. I find the cross most comfortable, I get quite uncomfortable in H. And the only difference between us are small differences in the shape of our shoulders and our shape of the back, and that affects it. So the only way for you to tell is to try a few carriers on. If you prefer the H, then either would do. If you prefer the cross, then the Ergo is going to be a lot better for you. Or any other carrier on the market that also allows crossing. Then if it's either, then it might become that how you tighten might play a role. So you might find that pulling forwards maybe wins out the Tula. And also because without having the buckle and just having that pull forwards, this carrier can seem a little more simple than the Erg. So that was the first main difference. The second main difference is in the waistbands. So again, I'll grab the Ergo first. You can see that I'll grab them both together. So the difference between the waistbands is in the shaping. You can see the Ergo waistband is more curved, and depending on how that sits on your body, that may or may not be more comfortable. Whereas the Tula is more straight. It's more straight and it's wider for longer. Some people find that wider for longer is more comfortable. Some people find it then rubs into the hip bones. Whereas in the Ergo, it can sometimes just miss the hip bones and therefore be more comfortable. Also on this waistband, the Ergo has this lumbar support. It will fit down, so it will go out really wide, so it will fit plus size parents really well. It will also go down pretty narrow, so it will fit most petite parents, but very, very petite parents may struggle. And to be honest, that's true kind of with both, because they are quite bulky. So if you're very petite, it either can feel quite a lot. Again, the Tula works really well for plus size parents. It goes out super wide, and that longer padding can often work really well. It doesn't have the lumbar support that Ergo has coming with the carrier, but they actually sell one separately. So if you do find you like the lumbar support, it is something you can add to the Tula. And in fact, these Tula pads are great because they work on pretty much any carrier. So I encourage them for people who already don't have Tulas. So the third main difference that I mentioned at the outset is in how these carriers sort of feel in the panel. So the Ergo is more structured. If you can see, there's more boning and shaping going on. So it has a slightly more structured feel to it. Also has a slightly sportier look. The Tula is much softer. It doesn't have all the boning. It has seat darting, so it has the same shape, but it doesn't have the boning. So it's very soft and squishy, really molds. They both give a beautiful shape on baby. Some people prefer that feeling of structure. Some people prefer the softer, smoother, less on their baby. So that's another factor. Also, in terms of then this looks more sporty because of the aesthetic they've gone for. The Tula looks less sporty and comes in lots of different beautiful patterns. Ergo have gone for sort of more just block colours. As I said, they're owned by the same parent company, so they've purposefully kept them looking quite different to appeal to slightly different markets. So they are the main differences, and really what it comes down to is how they fit you. Both are carriers that fit a huge range of parent shapes and sizes, from petite all the way up to plus size and beyond. I know when we talk about the one size fits all, a lot of plus size people say, but they don't fit me. Honestly, these carriers can fit really well, particularly the Tula on curvier bodies. But when people say which one's going to be best, often the answer is either or neither. If you are super petite, you might find both really bulky. If you're someone who doesn't like lots of bulk, you might get on better with a less bulky carrier because they are on the more bulky end of the spectrum, both of them. So it might be neither, or it might be both, and then it might come down to those small differences, and if you prefer softer, if you prefer more structured, if you prefer pulling forwards, etc. My best advice is to try them on and maybe try other things too. You are welcome to get in contact with me and let me know your personal circumstances, and I will advise accordingly. But for trying them on, I do rent these out. I do sell them as well, but I rent them out, and that can be a really nice risk-free way of trying them. And the way it works is if you rent with me, I will take the cost of a 2-week hire off the purchase price if you then decide to buy. So you don't lose out to hire first and try before you buy. I hope this has been helpful. Bye-bye.